Hello, everyone. Hello. It's not exactly an ultra bullish glitch, just a glitch. I don't really know if people will actually, I have no idea if people will actually um, put money in crypto right now. I think like the whole system's gotten a pretty bad rep. But either way, yeah, there was a big glitch that got people nervous for a while. And it did actually freeze trades because it was going to cause a cascading effect until Paxos came in and stopped it. Because they kind of printed 300 trillion extra dollars. And they had to burn all those 300 trillion extra dollars because people were like kind of going nuts because, it was $300 trillion. Yeah, so like Paxos accidentally minted $300 trillion worth of like PY of a stable coin, the PayPal stable coin. So like they legitimately were like, "Whoops, we printed more money than the entire world combined of PayPal USD." And then PayPal was like, "Bro, we don't have $300 trillion to actually back it up." And they're like, "Oh, we better burn it then." And then like they had to stop trades of the stable coin because obviously people were going to take advantage of this $300 trillion they just printed. Kind of crazy if you think about it. No, not 3 trillion, 300 trillion. 3 trillion's peanuts. We're talking 300 trillion. It's a fat finger mistake. They burnt it all, so it doesn't have much effect on the market. But like it was like the extra 300 trillion was there for 22 full minutes, and people were kind of going insane because they were wondering where this $300 trillion actually came from, which it didn't because it doesn't exist. So yeah, they kind of made a mistake, but it was rectified. So yeah, this is what happened. They had a fat finger and they printed like a lot of money. So basically, 300 trillion fat finger as Paxos accidentally mints PYUSD, which is PayPal USD. But I guess PayPal told them they don't actually have $300 trillion to back up their print. So crypto users were left scrambling on Wednesday after Paxos minted 300 trillion of PayPal's PYUSD stablecoin that sent it all to a burn address. So they got rid of it. They obviously got rid of it because no one has that much money, but they did print it, which caused kind of a mess. So blockchain data showed stablecoin issuer Paxos both minted and burned 300 trillion tokens of PayPal USD within 30 minutes, leaving many crypto users scratching their heads. In a Wednesday X post following the mint and burn, Chaos Labs founder Omar Goldberg said AAVE would be temporarily freezing trades for PayPal USD after an unexpected high magnitude transaction. Yes, there was an unexpected high magnitude transaction of $300 trillion because, that's totally legit. So, obviously, PYUSD's peg 1-to-1 to the US dollar. And obviously, they can't afford to peg it 1-to-1 to the US dollar if they printed 300 trillion of them. But Ethereum blockchain data showed Paxos minting 300 trillion of the US dollar peg stablecoin at 7:12 p.m. UTC and then burning the entire amount 22 minutes later by sending it to an inaccessible wallet. So they did get rid of it. They did actually get rid of it. And you can actually see it right here. The transaction from from Paxos 7 interacted with PayPal USD, ERC20 tokens transferred for $300 trillion right there. So that was kind of a foobar. So in a Wednesday X post, Paxos said it had mistakenly minted excess PYUSD as part of an internal transfer. This was an internal technical error, said Paxos. There is no security breach. Customer funds are safe. We have addressed the root cause. The root cause was they printed too much money, 300 trillion in extra money. So that was the biggest burn in crypto history. It was corrected though. It was corrected. No, it wasn't really. It wasn't really a play in an environment because it actually like AAVE actually had to pause trades, so it was active, but they kind of locked it because like AAVE actually had to temporarily freeze trades because like it was actually tradable, but they kind of caught it before it did too much damage. Yeah, sure. No one actually cares about PayPal, but if you let $300 trillion sit there, people do tend to notice. It doesn't even matter what stablecoin it is. If there's like 300 trillion, if it was like if there was 300 trillion extra, people will obviously notice because it's a lot of freaking money. Was U.S. confiscated? That's a criminal organization from Cambodia. Yes, it was a. It was run by like a big Cambodian businessman. So the U.S. government did confiscate like 120K BTC, worth about $15 billion. But they're not going to sell it. They're just gonna add it to the U.S. crypto reserve, obviously, which is good. Which is good. It's very nice. Very nice. Pax G is a solid way to invest in gold, which is yeah. It's crazy how the U.S. took it all. Weren't they doing crimes all over the world? Well, I mean, they can't really refund everyone because like it's been happening over a number of like several years, and they probably can't figure out like who it all belongs to. So it's just gonna go in the U.S. Reserve. So like the U.S. essentially got 15 billion more dollars, and it could potentially be a lot more if crypto continues to go up. I view this as a positive thing because it gives the U.S. incentive to boost crypto. Trade war. We've been in a trade war with China since like April, man. This is just a new. This is just a new stage to the trade war with China. He just introduced 100% more tariffs. And people are still going to say he's playing 3D chess. It's not 3D chess, bruh. Like, remember, he tweeted out 3 days ago, everything's going to be okay. China just had a bad day. Now he's like, we're in a trade war. We've been in a trade war for like 7 months, man. It's just going to be extra tariffs. And like, if the farmers weren't pwned before, they're definitely pwned now. And they're actually escalating it right now. So China stopped buying U.S. soybeans, which was like a huge part of the farmers' exports. And then like Trump's like, we're not going to buy cooking oil from China anymore, which I guess will hurt Chinese cooking oil producers or whatever. But like, it's like tit for tat. I actually think this will actually benefit. I actually think this will actually benefit crypto at first because this kind of tit for tat. Obviously, this kind of tit for tat is obviously bad for the economy, which makes them more likely to cut rates more. Now, Neptune, I don't think retail gave up. I think a lot of retail went to leverage and perps. Because if you look at open interest is higher than ever. So people are still playing the market. Like people are 100% still playing the market. But they're just playing the market in a different way. But like them playing the market in a different way is actually bad for us because we need those spot traders to actually buy up crypto to actually push us up. Like having a lot of open interest and leverage doesn't actually help us, which is unfortunate. Came from GME narrative, but that's possible too. No, like if you actually look at perps volume and leverage volume, it's higher than ever. So like a lot of those altcoin buyers just went to perps and leverage. It makes sense because because those altcoin buyers were the gamblers anyways. And since they're the gamblers, and since they're gamblers, they're much more likely to do the more risky bets. Yeah, the US is giving 40 billion to Argentina because Trump really wants to save Malay because he wants to prove that like massive cuts can actually work. And like Malay's reforms are kind of falling apart because they're having like a currency crisis now. I'm still thinking like mid-November now. I think the government shutdown and everything has basically pushed everything back by like half a month to a month. However, and also the trade war has shocked some people. I don't think this is going to bode well if we have like a few more shocks. I think Bitcoin might be okay with a few more shocks. I don't know if altcoins will be okay with a few more shocks. And I do think the government shutdown is making people like more and more nervous now because it's been there for like 2 weeks. And people are going to pull back on their money. So we do actually need the government to open up. But since it's been shut down for 2 weeks, I think it'll like delay everything by 2 weeks to a month. That's my guess. That's just my guess. I'm not 100% sure. Grant presidential pardon to CZ. I think Trump is probably going to grant presidential pardon to CZ just because CZ is rumored to be helping helping him on his like launch of Perps exchange. And you know, like BNB is going to be listed on Coinbase as well. If the government, I don't think the GDP will necessarily shrink. Right now, like the government shutdown hasn't impacted businesses to that extent yet. The gold is skyrocketing because of the. I do think gold is going up because of the shutdown. The less confidence people have in government, the higher gold gets. The less people actually have confidence in the economy. The less people have confidence in the economy, like the higher gold gets. That's kind of just how it works. There's not like yeah. Boron may not come. There is a chance that the boron may not come. I don't think that's going to be the case though. I really don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, I think if we get a couple more shocks, that might be the case. The boron may not come. But as of right now, I think the boron is still on schedule. I mean, not on schedule, it's delayed. I think it's going to be even later than last boron. Ethereum, I don't know. Is it really holding strong? It dumped below 4K, so I wouldn't exactly say it's holding strong. I mean, it's above now. But like it's hovering around 4K. That's 20% off its top. I mean, even BNB is almost 20% off its top, but BNB like literally made a new all-time high like 3 days ago. So I'm not complaining about BNB. What do exchanges do? I mean, it just goes into their profits. Like Binance obviously uses some of that profit to buy BNB back and burn them. I don't think the exchanges buy spot. They have other business activities that they do. Really don't think exchanges actually buy spot. It's not looking good. Maybe not, man. Maybe not. To be fair, it doesn't seem like the market rally when everyone gives up. I mean, if everyone's giving up, obviously, like the market's gonna fail the rally. But I don't think everyone's giving up. And also, like the big whales can actually pump the market a lot. I still think I would stay in the market right now. I feel like most retail is the same boat as I am. I got wiped out last Friday. Yeah, but the only reason that you would get wiped out is if you were doing leverage or perps. If you're not actually doing leverage or perps, you wouldn't get wiped out. Like I said, that's why I think a lot of retail is doing leverage or perps. And maybe it'll only go up if they stop doing leverage or perps or whatever. It's not like, well, PayPal didn't mint the 300 trillion. Like PayPal didn't mint 300 trillion, man. Like Paxos basically fat fingered it, and then they burnt it. People want to take that fast money. Of course, a lot of retail is now doing. Yeah, I think that's part of the reason that we're not pumping. A lot of the people that actually pump the coins are doing leverage and perps. That's not a good thing. Also, the stock market is performing very well. The stock market bounced back much faster than crypto. That's the thing. I think people are losing confidence in crypto, and the thing is, like, the only people that are going to stay in the market are the gamblers. I mean, like people doing these massive leverages are people that are actually doing these massive leverages are making it so much easier for the big guys to manipulate the market. Person retail left are people who are going to trade leverage. I mean, Trump making an announcement at 3 p.m. probably can't be good. It's probably something else to do with the trade war. You're not going to call the leverage traders. They're going to be like, once they start gambling, like if they even come into the market, they'll always be leverage traders. War with Venezuela is so stupid. I don't know. That probably won't affect the markets, but that's so stupid. Maybe he's just mad because he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, so now he's going to declare war on people. Who knows? Peak 8, the money has to come from somewhere. I think institutions do actually have the money. I do think the institutions do actually have to have the money. They can have the money, but it requires retail as well. And if retail is just trading leverage, it's not going to be there. That's true. They could want the Venezuelan oil. That country doesn't really have the infrastructure to take advantage of it, but we kind of do. They might be using the drug war as an excuse for that because they can't just outright say we want their oil, which we obviously do, but still, you can't just outright say that. Dump their garbage gold and buy BTC. Dude, they're not gonna dump gold. There's no way they're gonna dump their gold, man. Like with the government shut down and with people so uncertain about the economy, there's no way they're gonna dump gold. Is trading leverage and getting smoked giving more money to the exchanges? Yeah, so stop trading leverage. Sure, but no one's like, people are just buying. Look, most buyers of gold are looking at long term investments, or like they're trading, or they're just speculating. They're not concerned about bringing it across borders. Like, Neptune, like no one actually uses crypto for anything. They just do it to speculate. Same thing with gold. They're not actually planning to use the gold somewhere. They're either just like buying it as a safety asset or they're speculating. One of the two. Like people still use fiat for everyday transactions. That's not going to change. Inferior to BTC no matter how you break it down. No, it's not inferior to BTC. It's a physical element that you can actually use to build things. Like many electronics and other products actually require gold to actually build it. You don't really need Bitcoin to build anything. It's purely a financial product. And like for speculation, a lot of people can just buy and trade paper gold. So you don't have to have the physical gold. Buying and selling of paper gold kind of controls the market prices. And there's a big demand for gold right now. I mean, silver's a little different. That's actually driven by actual demand of silver. But gold's just based on speculation. And since it's speculation, it's actually not worse than BTC because because no one's using Bitcoin or gold. the usage isn't the issue. Like no, like you're not like people aren't using Bitcoin to pay for things. Very few, anyways. Just like they're not using gold to pay for things. It's all about speculation. Like Bitcoin is a purely financial product at this point. Whether it's like ETFs or just regular Bitcoin, people buy it to invest or buy it to speculate. Gold is real, but most people that buy gold don't actually buy physical gold either. It's gold. It's like paper gold. They just buy and speculate on the price right now. They almost serve the same function. Just like overall, very few people use crypto. A lot of the some people use stable coins, but a lot of the stablecoin transactions are for DeFi. I don't think ETFs or alts that is supposed to come by end of the year will matter much in terms of prices. I think it'll work for some of them, but Jimbo, like the ETFs for alts will actually be delayed at this point. Because like the government's shut down, the SEC is not going to approve all the government's shut down. At least I don't think they will. Everyday life gold depends on gold, same as silver. Sort of true, but not completely true. Because like silver speculation is a little different. There's actually like more silver being used in production than there is them mining it. That's not true for gold. Is insurance in the world economies that can control in the world and maintain your wealth? I mean, it's the same thing as gold. Like it's just paper gold. And buy things. The future is crypto. So as time goes on, no one cares about it. No, gold isn't going to lose value because no one uses crypto to buy things either. Look, people aren't willing to admit that crypto is purely a financial speculative product. Like they still want to pretend that crypto is being used in a massive industrial case. It's not. Like elegantly wasted. I would say that like if you were talking about stable coins, you're probably right. But unless you're talking about stablecoins, no one uses anything else. The only like people just buy everything else to speculate. The underlying asset, Neptune, the underlying asset backing gold is actually physical gold that you actually need. There is an actual need for gold in production. Like gold, gold is a lot of it is financial, but there's actually a physical use for it. Whereas Bitcoin, like it's much more tenuous. And gold just has more trust because it's been like the peg for like thousands of years. The need is nominal, but there is a need for it. Whereas Bitcoin, there's not really a need for it. And plus, like Neptune, you have to realize like international transactions are being handled by stablecoins, which you don't really need Bitcoin for. Gold is controlled more by the London CME. I will say that. And I think they're less likely to like induce these giant dips and stuff, obviously. It's definitely more of a controlled asset, even though it definitely has its ups and downs. Would rather pay a fine when they get caught and maintain control. JP Morgan actually controls silver. They don't control gold. Crypto will be backed by gold. That's its use case. Only PAX-G is backed by gold. Crypto is a market product. It actually can't be backed by anything. Most cryptos are market products. Well, gold's more or less controlled by London CME, but they're much less likely to cause it to have like massive swings. But like gold's price is also massively affected by the buy and selling of gold futures. But it does like gold's price a lot of times does go inverse with the economy because the less people trust the economy, the less people trust the government, the more gold goes up. Now, technically, it should be the same for Bitcoin, but it really isn't. Who controls Paxos Gold? I mean, the minting's controlled by Paxos Standard, but like they actually have to have gold to back Pax Gold. Silver, yeah, silver is heavily manipulated by JP Morgan, but silver has one thing going for it. There's actually a massive demand for the use of silver, and even JP Morgan can't control that. Like you actually need silver in the production of a lot of things. And like while JP Morgan can manipulate the price of silver, it can't like tell people just not to use silver in production. And like if there's actually enough pressure on that front, like they can't really control the price that much. Now, there are more entities than JP Morgan that have an interest in keeping silver price down because if you raise the price of silver, then everything that requires silver to build, even if it's a small bit of silver, actually becomes more expensive. So they can't let things get way too expensive. They would have to mine more silver, which is possible, obviously. Reserve gold, though, how can you be anti-government from buying gold? You honestly can't. Look, I've always thought that the people that thought like if governments didn't exist, we'd all be better off are crazy. Like anarchy is not the way to go, and like anarcho-capitalism is like, I guess like the libertarian wet dream, like the anarcho-capitalist, but that would like never actually work. Surprised gold still going up? I am not surprised gold is going up at all. It's not like people are going to suddenly get confidence in the economy. I don't really know what the value of platinum is right now. Well, I mean, if there weren't any governments, it'd just be like whoever has the biggest gun. When you think BTC before Q5 pump, I think like the anarchists think that like without government, everyone would be peaceful and mind their own business. That's not how humanity works. I think the anarchists have a very, very like flawed understanding of how humanity actually works. Is Pax G the gold stock everyone's buying? It's not really like Pax G is just tethered to gold. It's not really a gold stock. It's a tokenized representation of gold. I don't really know how high they'll let silver go, though, is the thing. Like the demand for silver is really huge. Not just but silver's demand isn't just from a speculative point. There's so many things that actually use silver to produce. Yeah, but Carlson Way, it wouldn't just be crypto investors. Look, gold's been like kind of a reserve for the entire world for thousands of years. That's not all of a sudden going to change. They'll have a choice if the physical demand for silver outpaces trading. They can always mine more silver though. Like they can up the production of silver. It will obviously have an effect on the price, but they can actually up the physical. They can actually mine more silver. They have the capacity to do that. They just haven't been forced to that point yet. They got their predictions wrong. Yeah, like because the amount of stuff that silver is actually used for is like massive. Yeah, people are more confident than gold in Bitcoin right now. That's fairly obvious. Because like most people still don't see Bitcoin as an actual reserve. And most people just see crypto as a gambling market, which it kind of is. This is not that hard to flesh out, people. Should that ratio have been maintained to an extent? There's no real reason for that ratio. You know why gold's been worth more than silver in all of history? It's because gold's shinier and has that golden luster. That's really the reason. Because back in ancient times, it's not like they used gold more than silver. It's just the luster and the color. That's literally why gold's always been worth more than silver. It is also rare in the upper crust. I will say that, but it's mainly because of the color and the luster. No, pirates always had gold treasure chests. The concept of pirates didn't come up until like the 1700s. Gold was used as a peg way before that. Yeah, but B-Trader, gold's been a historical adoption. Like almost every single country used gold back in since ancient times. And the rarity of gold was actually what made it valuable. Like they actually, like alchemy was actually banned in the medieval age, like in medieval Europe, because they were afraid that it was going to be real. Yeah, but I mean the pirates that you usually think of with the treasure chests. They're not really an ancient thing. Like the whole piracy thing was like 1500s, 1600s, 1700s. The whole pirates with treasure chest thing. Crypto is cooked. But people have been using gold as a peg for thousands of years. Way before the pirates with the treasure chests. This year won't be bullish. Nah, this year will definitely be like overall. Bitcoin's going to end the year higher than it started the year. Altcoins, I'm not so sure. You think it's all over for this cycle? I mean, there's still pirates today, but no one thinks of pirates today with the gold treasure chests. Just like, pirates before like the 1600s weren't the ones people think of with the treasure chests. You think? No, I don't think it's all over for crypto this cycle. I think we still have a chance to come back up. I mean, Bitcoin's still doing okay. It's the altcoins that are really in trouble. Look, people need to stop doing so much leverage and start buying spot again. I think that would help a lot, but no one's going to do that just because I said so. Because if you don't have retail buying spot, it's really, really difficult to have a big bull run. It really is super difficult to have a bull run if you don't have retail buying spot. We have to accept that alt season won't be happening again in 2020 as in 2021. I still think it can happen. A better conductor than gold and less scarce, but gold doesn't corrode as easily. I mean that's why that's why they use gold for teeth. Why people play a rigged game? Because they think they can beat the rigged game. That's why. Ask why people buy lottery tickets. Like everyone knows it's a losing proposition, but somehow people think that Somehow everyone thinks that they can actually win. Thinking another crash or two before the end of the year, Bitcoin will hit 47K. I don't think Bitcoin's going to hit 47K. Bitcoin has actually survived the crashes pretty well. It's the altcoins that really suffer. Think about it. The lottery is the oldest pump and dump scheme. Yeah, it's a state-sponsored pump and dump scheme. You don't have to play. You can just save up and like basically buy the market index. I mean, if you do that over a period of 30 years, you end up with a lot of money. That's what my parents and a lot of other people did. But they had to wait like, 30 years before they got like well off. Like you don't have to play the rigged game. Most people just want the money right now, so they play the rigged game. You don't actually have to play. It's not like there's no rule that says you absolutely have to play. You think crypto gaming, owning our digital products will become popular? Crypto gaming has yet to prove itself to me. I don't really believe in the concept of crypto gaming right now. I don't see why the big gaming companies would actually move to crypto. They like a lot of them have their own ecosystems and they have no interest in integrating with other people's ecosystems. What was Paxos' reason? I mean, like PayPal probably just wanted Paxos to mint something like 30 million or something, and they ended up minting 300 trillion for whatever reason. Like they're just a stablecoin issuer. I don't even know if that rumor is true. Game is apparently going to be $200. That's way too damn expensive. Like game should be no more than 70, 80 bucks. Yeah, I've said like I don't really think crypto gaming is going to be a thing for a long time, if ever. Neptune, I don't think it's going to go down as 47K. I think there's too much demand for Bitcoin above 47K. Well, PayPal wasn't the one that minted it. Paxos was the one that minted it. They made a fat finger mistake. A pretty big one, obviously, because $300 trillion is a lot of fucking money, but still. It's realistic. I mean, I think Bitcoin can dump to like 60K or something. We went down to 75K earlier this spring. We can go lower than that in a bear market. Yes, Paxos minted PayPal stables. Terra4 an impact for crypto. I think at first, like Ryan T, if it lasts long term, it's bad. But I think like at first it'll actually be good because that might actually like force the Feds to actually cut the rates more. Right now, like crypto's just taking a lot of hits with a lot of like manipulation and stuff. Yeah, there's a ton of demand at way higher price points. How high can Ondo go? Not very high if we don't have a boron. If we have a boron, it can do like 4x maybe. Yes, they burned the stables They burned the $300 trillion after 22 minutes, but the $300 trillion was there for 22 minutes, and then people were like kind of freaking out because they saw $300 trillion. Does anyone even play Eve anymore? Like, that's like a 30-year-old game or something like that. Like, I don't know if anyone plays Eve anymore. Like, I remember that the Eve thing got introduced when I was reading Maximum PC magazine in my teens. Yeah, EVE Online was launched in '03. Maybe not in my teens, my like early 20s. Like I was 19 when this game was launched, bro. It's like more than 20 years old. I don't know if anyone plays it anymore. I want to say no, wide shorts, but I'm not sure at this point. I don't think people people thought it was the top at like 3,300. But I don't think it's going to go down because people like I don't see an event where people all of a sudden gain confidence in the economy. 16,500? Yeah, but that's not very much, man. That's actually a pretty small player base. 16.5 is actually a pretty small player base. Should we just FOMO into gold? You can. I'm not. Currently live at 11 p.m. How many players do they have overall? So they have about 398,000 active players monthly on all platforms. And about 3,000 they average about 3,000 players concurrently on Steam. It's not too bad. Still not that big though. When they buy while you sit. Well, look, I think Bitcoin will obviously outgain gold over the next couple of years. Gold's just a safer asset. And people feel safer with gold. So far I can tell after being 5 years in this game. Yeah, but Kuba, the lottery is too, and people keep buying that shit. Just because people feel like it's a scam doesn't mean they won't buy it. Most casino games are scams. They're obviously meant for you to lose, but people still play them. I think long term wise, like if the Supreme Court agrees with Trump the tariffs, like yeah, that'll be bad for our market. Short term wise, it probably won't do anything. Sure, it is number go up, but people have always kind of like retracted back to gold when they don't believe in the economy. Like the less confidence there is in the economy and the government, the more they buy gold. It's always kind of been that way. Yeah, BTC's also number go up. But Bitcoin isn't really looked as much as at much as a reserve as gold though. AVAX, the dev, just got fired from his real job. I see. AI, man, rise of the machines. Rise of the machines, man. You better believe it. Machines will pwn your ass and replace you. You know the thing is, I actually think I get more people watching me, like I get more views on this channel when I'm fishing. But I'm not actually out fishing tonight because it sucks tonight. Bitcoin can't go up because Trump and his dumb tariffs. Otherwise, it'd be super bullish. You know the thing is, like, I think like we would have come down all the same, but I think our top would have been much, much higher had it not been for the tariffs, wide shorts. I think we would have actually had a proper bull run without the tariffs. Like I mean like it obviously would have went up and came down, but I think like the alts would have done so much better. Or sucking all the liquidity. Most likely buying gold. I don't even know if people in third world countries have the money to buy gold. Dude, I think districts should have to be like squares or rectangles, or as close to squares as possible. If I were to want to make the rules, I would just basically make like districts have to have about equal population to each other, and they should be as close to squares as possible. Screw all the gerrymandering. Sometimes I eat some of the fish I catch when I'm in St. Louis. I usually just fish for fun. The Clarity Act isn't going to pump up the price of Bitcoin or any other coins. Now I stopped trying to do like I tried to do that back like 2017, 2018 before I had the channel. And then that sucked. Because they always died way too fast. And they're like no, actually that was like right after the board, like 2018, 2019 before I really started doing YouTube. Like no, actually like mid 2018. That's why I tried to shoot small caps. They always died way too fast. And they didn't have the liquidity back then. I mean, if the 4-year cycle is dead, there isn't like a certain top. Realistically, if you really wanted the gains right now without the risk, you just buy BNB at this point, because that seems to be the best buy. Like its BNB's movements are in line with BTC, except it just performs better than BTC right now. There is somewhat of a 4-year cycle of Big E32, but realistically, we've only had 2 cycles, so there's not really much historical data to go by. No, just because the 4-year cycle is dead doesn't mean retail doesn't exist. It just means there's not an easy pattern you can follow to try to make money. It just makes investing and trading harder. It doesn't really change the fact whether there's retail or not. And it will destroy a lot of TA people because they all like a lot of them just model everything around the 4-year cycle. They won't admit it, but they do. Yes, BNB is on their roadmap to list, so they are listing BNB. Neptune, you're right. They just went to leverage. The GME hold type just went to leverage and perps because it's more exciting and volatile. Look, all the TA people, like all the technical analysis people and everyone, they completely rely on Bitcoin operating on a cycle. You can tell by like a lot of the predictions. They generally predict around the 4-year cycle. Didn't just leave. I'm pretty sure a lot of the GME people like went to perps and leverage, and they're probably not going to come back to spot. Look, gamblers will always like find a way to find their way to the biggest gamble, and that's perps and leverage. Like gamblers will always find a way to the most risky gamble. It's kind of a rule. Wasn't it the FTX that led us to the last bear market? No, we were in the bear market before FTX. Like the start of the Russian war was really like the beginning of the last bear market. Like the start of the Russia-Ukraine war was the beginning of the last bear market. We were already going down by the time Terra Luna and FTX rolled around. Yes, people who are doing high leverage are getting wrecked, man. But they still do it. Because they're crazy and they can't stop. They literally can't stop. Gamblers are going to gamble. Gamblers are 100% going to gamble. Can't stop that, man. Cannot stop that. It is what it is. Think BNB was going to drop. I think as long as Bitcoin goes up, BNB will continue going up. I don't think BNB is just going to fall flat randomly. I mean, BNB is obviously one of them right now, Joshua Lar. I still like Sui. Like, of the meme coins, I like Bonk. I still like Hyperliquid and Aster. And I think Solana has a really good future, although the ROI on Solana won't be huge. About going to the moon with GME, and maybe that's a meme in a way. Well, the GME people were always gamblers, man. Like they just went to the they just went to the instruments that can get them the most money in the shortest amount of time. And that's leverage or perps or something like that. And James Wynn really made perps big by losing a lot of money, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it works out that way somehow. GameStop, the whole GameStop thing, like back in 21. That's what GME was. Yeah, there were like more people that were. Look, buying and holding GME was never normal. Buying and holding GME was always gambling. All right, it just didn't move quite as fast as like 100x leverage. Like buying and holding like GME and AMC was always gambling. It just wasn't 100x gambling. Yeah, it's just easier now. Like leverage trading is just easier now. It's way more widely accessible. I don't know what Co-AI is, but it sounds like another crappy AI coin. But GME is what I think of as retail. Thanks, man. Thanks for the donation. But like realistically, we're all retail, man. Like we're not institutional and we're not like super billionaires buying like billions of dollars worth of crypto. We're realistically all retail. Roaring Kitty. I think he went with the GME crowd. He basically scammed people with a lot of money and then he left. I think that's what happened. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Roaring Kitty wasn't a scammer. Don't say that. remember Roaring Kitty, man. He basically hyped up things as well. Then he left. Then he came back, and then he left again. Thanks, man. Thanks for the donation. No, but it's not that. It's the stuff that he did after that. 20 and $10 donation. Got to give some blows for that. He might be on the board. I do remember something about that. I think he might. You might be right. I don't remember 100%, but you might be right. He trapped retail and gave false opium. Yeah, but everyone does that. That's not even such a big deal now, unfortunately. It's almost expected at this point. That's almost expected at this point. Like, literally almost expected at this point, man. I mean, people have, like, people always say, like, X pump this or X pump that. We don't really know 100% for sure. We just have our suspicions. No, I do remember after he reappeared again, he would try to do some kind of like $30 million project that like basically went nowhere. Once you have the social power to scam, some people just, like most people just can't help it, man. It's too tempting. Way too tempting. Nobody knows anything. Nothing. I've heard the same video. I see. The U.S. in a trade war with China, dumbest shit ever. Dude, Neptune, this is just who Donald Trump is. Neptune, like, we've been in this flux for like the last year or so. Like, realistically, we've been in this Donald Trump flux for the last year or so. He's very temperamental, and like, obviously, he didn't think China was going to retaliate after he levied tariffs, and they did. They used the same tactic that he did. They just levied their rare earth crap on everyone. But it's generally not good for the market. Oh, what's up? What's up with a 300 trillion crypto glitch? Yeah, so Paxos printed like $300 trillion worth of PYUSD, and then they deleted it after 22 minutes. But like some people freaked out because it's $300 trillion. Yeah, but big theory too. These things wreak havoc with the markets because if the tariffs actually go into effect, it's going to affect a lot of industries, especially like agriculture. Yes, they burned $300 trillion because it was never there in the first place. Look, with PYUSD, PayPal has to back the coins 1-to-1. Obviously, PayPal doesn't have $300 trillion. Come on now. So Paxos had to burn it. And it was obviously a mistake. Look, Neptune, this is going to keep happening for the next 3 years. This is who our president is. Like, and crypto people voted for this 100%. He didn't need to, but he did. For whatever reason. Yeah, this like the tariffs don't really go into effect until November 1st. We don't even know if they can hash out a deal because it doesn't seem like China is going to back down this time. So we could be stuck in something for like another 3 months or several months or whatever. Or he could just delay it again like he did with all the other stuff. Who knows? All right, guys. That's going to be it for right now. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell notifications button. I will be back tomorrow, and I will see you guys later.